Hello, everyone. Welcome to Greenlight Hollywood. I'm Antonio Saillant, and I'm a sustainable engineer, filmmaker, actor, and producer. And this channel is dedicated to exploring the future of entertainment through sustainability, innovation, and forward thinking ideas. Greenlight Hollywood is about more than filmmaking. It's about looking at sustainability in a broader way across entertainment, business, sports, and even our personal lives. My goal is to create a space where we can have meaningful conversations, challenge traditional thinking, and explore how sustainability can help us build smarter, more efficient, and more successful industries. For my first episode, I want to share something special. An interview I conducted some time ago at the famous Green Festival with Christine Argo from the Nature's Channel. This conversation still resonates today because it focuses on the importance of keeping an open mind when it comes to sustainability and the role it plays in shaping our future. I'm sharing this interview with you because I believe sustainability isn't just about the environment, it's about innovation, efficiency, and opportunity. Whether you're in entertainment, business, sports, or simply looking to make smarter choices in your personal life, sustainability has the power to create meaningful change. I hope this conversation inspires you, challenges you, and encourages you to think differently about the future. Welcome to Green Light Hollywood. Let's start the conversation and enjoy this interview. Any thoughts? Please feel free to leave me a comment. God bless you.
Hello, everybody. It's Christine Argo here at the Green Festival in New York City. And I keep saying that I have met the most amazing people this weekend, and I get to share another one of them with you. I'm sitting here with Antonio Saillant, his company is Angel Light Pictures, and he's on the advisory board of the Green Festival. And his work is really heavily focused on bringing sustainability to the entertainment industry. And initially I was thinking it was messages and films, and it turns out that it's actually greening the process of making films. And Antonio, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to talk to you about this and find out more about what, behind the scenes of what goes on.
Yes, it's a difficult process. It's just, honestly, people always ask me, how would you do a film all green? It hasn't been done yet. It's getting there. I think a lot of the celebrities and the directors and the producers and anybody who's on board that have to do with a film or even a television program is actually learning about all this. Now, there are some people like me who get hired to consult and teach, and in the process of how can you do this. And it's like when you do a building and you have a lot of help with the utilities, with incentives on reducing the load. And that's how it all started, because I was an energy consultant before I got hooked into the entertainment business. And that was, a friend of mine told me nothing happens by accident, and I just met a whole bunch of people that were good friends of mine that were producers and filmmakers, and I decided to use my expertise and unite both, bring the entertainment business, bring the energy business to the entertainment business, and unite them both, because I thought it would be a great thing to help the environment, the world, because what is the most important thing that we want to do is spread a message, not just in our country, but worldwide, global. And what's the best thing to do that? If I'm an audience out in India and I'm watching a film and then all of a sudden I read in the credits that this film is sustainable, it sends a message worldwide. Wow.
So let's talk about what does it mean to produce a sustainable film?
To me?
No, what goes into a film that needs to be addressed to make it sustainable?
Okay, we're talking about doing a film nowadays. If you're talking about period piece, we're talking in front of the camera. The clothing that the actors are wearing, make sure that it came from recycled from other sets.
Right.
The foods that they're eating on the set, I know that some of them are not real, but most of the time it is real.
Right.
Foods. Have the actors drinking something sustainable. Obviously, there's Green Festival, so there's a whole bunch of brands that you can use
Right.
in that factor. The lighting, nowadays, it's energy efficient lighting you can use. A lot of the DPs nowadays do not want to use it because a lot of them think that it changed the quality of the film, but it really doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And you just have to know how to combine two type of lighting to get that sauce. And the cameras that you're using on and off the set, and it's incredible because like when you're behind the camera, meaning what happens often when you're on the set, but like catering, the foods, I always recommend that you should send like flyers to the actors because pushing sustainability to certain actors, maybe they don't want to eat sustainable foods, but that's their choice. But at least let them know and give them a choice and have that all catered on the set. And that's very important. And even when you make the set,
Right.
like the wood you're using, where's it coming from?
Yeah.
Are you chopping down trees? Are you get recycled wood and use that? There's different paints that you could use as non-toxic that won't harm the environment. It's just absolutely so many things you could do.
So how receptive is the entertainment industry to this?
There's two. You have to take it apart into it. There's the studios, okay? The studios are easier to go green than independent producer. But an independent producer has to raise money for a film. Let's say the budget is $5 million for a film. It costs money to go green. You have to get consultants, people on staff, PAs have to be qualified in the background of being sustainable and going green to see what to look for, what not to look for. A studio, their plans are, this makes sense. And it's about helping the world and the community too. If you look at Disney, and they're very much sustainable, everybody's going to look at it. It's a family studio when they make films. And wow, people get amazed that they're able to do this. But it's easier for them to fund it because they get a lot of incentives to do it. Being a studio, like I said, utilities sometimes help in incentives if you do this, if you go green. They might give you a certain percentage back. A rebate program may happen. A long time ago, when I used to work for Con Edison, we had a rebate program where they gave $1 for KW reduce. So that's how they did it. But the reasoning behind that was more not to build another power plant. Let's reduce the load.
Right.
The word sustainability came out when Al Gore did his film. Then everything started to change towards that direction.
Yeah.
But to me, sustainability, I believe, is energy conservation.
For a lot of people, the dollar is the bottom line. So
Sure.
obviously there's a savings in electricity. Is there, even an independent producer, they might not think about sustainability, but is there a benefit, in addition to supporting the environment, is there a benefit on that financial side?
Sure, because I always tell people, when you do a film, or the production company, always check on where they're filming. I'm doing a film in the state of New Jersey, and it's called The Golden Knights. It's about a football team, and I speak to people in the government there, and what I want to do is do this film 100% sustainable, because I think it benefits the state of New Jersey to find that out. And I think that maybe down the road, when I am doing the film, they'll give me a lot of publicity. That's number one, so that everybody's aware of what I'm doing and the reason why I'm doing it. And then two, people will do the same thing. And maybe they'll give me an incentive to do this.
Right.
Maybe they'll give me 10%, 5%, or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. But the
Yeah.
whole point is I'm not really doing it to get money. I'm doing it because I want to save the world, save the
Right.
environment, spread a message
Right.
worldwide, and hope that if I could do it, so can you.
And because I think the reason I brought up the financial aspect of it is because I think people who aren't maybe environmentally aware or environmentally conscious, they want to do it the easiest way, right? They just want to do it, and I'm sure producing a film is never easy.
No, it's not
let's
easy.
take that off
No,
the table.
yeah,
So
right.
it's not saying that it's easy, but they want to do it in a way that where there isn't a lot of blocks and challenges. And I think sometimes when people think about sustainability, they think, oh, it's going to take me so long to XYZ, whatever it is, because they're, I don't know.
Of course, Steven Spielberg, Clint Eastwood. You think their minds are set, oh, I want to make this film sustainable. I just want to
Right.
direct. Their job is to direct. But the directors nowadays, in their mindset, that's why I said when I did a speech in Syracuse, the reason behind it is because they want to teach the students when they're graduating that this is important. You're going to become a journalist. You're going to become an engineer. You're going to become a director, a future screenwriter. Have this in mind. A screenwriter, when he writes a script, he has it in mind.
Right.
So he's writing while he's being creative. And if you have being sustainable in your mind, thinking this, I think it'll make it easier, the process easier when it comes to time of production.
Yeah.
All this is done during development. You got development and pre-production, then production of the film when you're actually filming, and then post-production.
It's so interesting to me, especially having been here all weekend, talking to so many people about all the different areas where we can make a difference. Right? It's phenomenal.
Sure.
It is so amazing to think that from the grass that we grow to the way that we produce a movie, that everything that we do has a place where it can become supportive to the environment rather than destructive to the environment. And I just find it fascinating that I think as a whole, either we're running through our days too fast or we're just so unconscious or so inundated that and I think it's going to require a change in mindset, which is what you're talking about.
You have an artist like Leonardo DiCaprio who goes around the world doing speeches, which is great, fantastic. He's a wonderful gentleman, and his heart is in the right place, and he wants to do great. But then the other side of the coin is right in his backyard, Sony Pictures, not to take away from Sony, because Sony Pictures does a lot of wonderful things when it comes to sustainable. When they filmed James Bond's Spectre, the film that recently came out,
Right.
they did a whole explosion scene in Monaco. And they got the award for the largest explosion ever done in the history of cinema. And this is the thing, if you were to see that clip, it's this dark cloud of smoke.
Oh, yeah.
What happened to being sustainable? See, this is the case where sustainable was second and getting the award was first, but nobody thought about, hey, look at this black smoke pollution. They didn't think of that. And that was sad when I saw that. You can't blame the artists that go around the world speaking on behalf of what they're trying to do and change the world. And then on the other side of the coin, you have certain production companies that are not 100%.
Right.
I understand it, but J.J. Ambrose on Star Wars, when you see all those explosions, then they're visual effects.
Wow. That's
and
amazing.
you could do all this
Yeah.
in computers. We're not there yet.
And I suppose it depends on, and I think that sort of goes back to what I was just saying about that, whether it's the programming that we have or it's just that unconscious awareness that we have to these pieces, that it's like the desire is, I want it to look real, or I want it, so they do this big explosion rather than having that thought of, we can do this a different way. And
yes. That's what bothered me a little bit,
Yeah.
Look, digital filming is now out, and that's sustainable. But yet, I'm talking about J.J. Ambrose now, who, yes, believes in sustainability and is a great guy, but he wanted to do it in film. He wanted to do Star Wars in film and not do it on digital. So this, so I look at it as, in the old days of filmmaking, film was better, came out better, and it perceives to the audience a bit better. And I think a lot of the filmmakers continue and want to use film, and it's more expensive to use film. If you watch Project Greenlight this past season, the filmmaker that wanted to use film, and they would try to talk him out of it. Matt Damon, Ben
Right.
Affleck, but he's the director, so they let him do it his way. And,
Yeah.
But if it was me, I would have. No,
Because
I would have not.
it's really, you're really sparking these pieces in my mind, because this exists in every area where we talk about sustainability and environmentalism. And I think about people who get upset about Cecil the lion but eat meat. It's like we don't have this connection in our brain that says, if I'm upset that this wild animal was killed in this way, yet I'm not focusing on the fact that what I'm doing in my own life has really a same kind of impact on a creature. And
Sure.
and then you're talking about in the film industry, which is really an area I never even thought about.
That's why they hire animal handlers. They handle the animals, and also
I don't mean about animal cruelty in films. I'm saying
in general.
So Cecil the lion was the lion that the dentist went to
Oh,
Africa, and
yes.
people were just really upset about it, and rightfully. Yet at the same time, the same people don't think, where is my meat coming from? How is this animal treated? So there's this gap in
Sure.
we can see it in some places, but we don't see it in another place.
But that's why that word sustainability, like, there are people that have honestly followed me. My friends own a steakhouse in New York, the Empire Steakhouse, and they're number one in New York City. Now, I don't eat meat because there are other things in there that are sustainable. You don't have to eat meat.
Yeah.
But people have seen me in a restaurant, in a steakhouse, and I go, Antonio, I thought you were sustainable. And you got to be careful, because sustainable could be different things. You could be sustainable in energy. You could be sustainable in foods and whatever. Or you could be across the board sustainable. And that's why I said, now I don't know if Leonardo DiCaprio eats a steak. I have no idea. But I'm just saying that if they were to see him eat a steak, it would be in the front page. And they say, I thought this gentleman,
Yes.
this actor who talks around the environment is sustainable. So
And that's what I'm saying. There are these degrees that
Right.
we have, and I think it's part of human nature, and it's part of our evolution and our own process that we take these steps. And for me, it's just always fascinating when I take, like, I go, oh, so we've got this over here, which also has a whole piece that needs to be addressed. So it's, I don't do this, I don't do that. Oh, yes, and now there's this, right? So because you can have people who are so environmentally conscious, but they're not conscious in other aspects of their life.
no.
They can be
Absolutely.
completely.
That's
you
why
know,
when I walk on a set and I see plastic bottles all over the place, and I start to think, what's going on?
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to mention the show that I was on a set with, but during catering, I had a paper plate. Okay, so I went back for seconds. Okay, and the caterer said to me, "Oh no, I'll give you a new plate." I said, "No, I want to use the same plate. There's nothing wrong with me using this one." And he kept on and gave me a new plate. So, see, his mindset is not
Right.
already. It's like wasting.
Yes.
You're wasting paper here.
Yeah.
So he doesn't get it.
So I find it interesting you had mentioned that you go and you speak to the colleges. Do you speak to the high schools? Have you gotten into that?
I haven't spoken to the high schools yet, which
Yeah.
I find very interesting because it should go even lower.
It should, yeah. I was
No.
going to go down the line with you, but yes, yeah.
This is what I'm hoping for, because this film that I'm doing, The Golden Knights, is about a high school football team, and because the publicity I'm hoping for is not much because of what it's about, but also because it's sustainable. You raise the money, and I just do it and hope that it changes along later on. But I just want to do the film because it's about a great football team, and honestly, it's going to be the first 100% sustainable film
Oh, that's great.
from head to toe.
Yeah.
I kid you. I have people already in place that I spoke to, companies that will be there, because I'm going to be directing and I'm going to have a lot of great people on board. So I'm going to be focused on that, being creative and directing, but I'm going to make sure I have the right people in place. And if I see anything out of the ordinary, believe me, I
Yeah.
will say something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like I said, it's development, pre-production, so all that will be taken care of in the very beginning before we even head into production. So it's like there should be no issues.
Great.
period.
So if people want to find out more about the Golden Knights, how will they find out
Well,
about
you could go directly to my website,
Okay.
film festival that I'm starting, and hopefully by next year I'm trying to get sponsors. It's called Planet Green Fest. If you go on that, you'll see what I'm talking about. I want to do these short films, and in order to submit your films, they have to be 100% sustainable films.
Wow, great.
And I'm hoping to send a message worldwide. This is a global announcement for me. I got the idea from John Paulson, he's a producer for Elementary on CBS, a co-producer, and he started Trop Fest, which he does short films, but they're not sustainable. But I took his brand and I said, let's add this. And his is global. He goes worldwide.
That's a great idea. It's
So
a really great
I'm
idea.
hoping that becomes very successful.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it
and because
teaches-
in doing that, you're
teaches
teaching
people.
and you're educating people that this is something to strive for.
I love the action of words, don't get me wrong, but I love the actions of doing
Right.
better. Okay?
Absolutely.
So that's my quote.
Yeah.
Let's leave it like that. You could talk all you want. You could go. I love doing these speeches and presentations and being interviewed. Leonardo DiCaprio, I'm pretty sure, loves doing them. Robert Redford also. I look up to these people because they have a heart. But I think in the other side of the coin, let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Enough talk, do it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. You're going to be speaking in a little bit here.
3:30, I'll be speaking at the green stage in the back. So anybody's welcome to hear my 30-minute speech and learn a little bit what we just spoke about today.
All right, great. Thank you so much for spending the time with me. I really appreciate
Thank
it.
you for inviting me.
Thank you.
Pleasure.